Okay, so this is going to be my review of Legend of Korra Season 3 Change, Episodes 6 and 7. Now, the big word of this week's review, of these two episode reviews, is decent. That's really what I thought. After how cool the last two episodes were, I was like, these were... Not to say they were bad, they were a lot better than a lot of Season 2's episodes. These two were just meh to me. Well, actually, no. Old Wounds had a better story to it, but the first part of this, Old Wounds, had a good story to it and had a good outturn to it that I really liked. The other one was a little more debatable. Like, there were some parts in it that and it was just an all-around just decent episode, and that one's the original Airbenders. But let's kick things off with Old Wounds. This is taking up where it left off. These also, let me say this right also, before we go any further, these also felt like really filler-heavy episodes. Like, guys, you've only got 13 episodes. Come on, move the fucking story. And yeah, both these it should not be like a 2-episode filler, but on the other hand, I kind of see okay, I can forgive Old Wounds, I can forgive it, but original Airbenders just felt way too fillery. Whatever. What's done is done. Anyway, so Old Wounds, let's kick off into that. This starts off with Lin Bei Fong being still a bitch. Yeah. After she's still going around yelling at people, and it's showing that her stress is actually giving her physical damage to her body. So Highway, the Truth Seer in the Metal Clan, gives her a certificate to go to to take some acupuncture to get her stress off. And this is where we find out about her past life with her sister. We find out more about her sister, and we also find out that it was her sister who gave her those scars. We also find out, again, much to my chagrin, that Toph was indeed a shit mom. Seriously, why do you have to make... Okay, Brian, Mike, I know you ain't watching this, but as a fan, why do you have to continue to assassinate the characters of the show that made you... that gave you a lot of popularity, a show that many people consider on par with the likes of Batman the Animated Series and Gargoyles? You continue to assassinate the traits and characterisms of the characters that you create. Characterism, that's a word I just made up. The characteristics and traits of characters that you knew people would love. I really do not understand the making of this, and I'll explain why. In here, Toph pretty much destroys after her daughter Sue is arrested. Toph literally says she's going to wipe this under the rug out of protection of her identity. I'm the chief of police. I can't have my daughter in prison. So she pretty much just sends Sue out of Republic City to live with her grandparents. That doesn't happen, of course we know, and everyone's told to just forget about it. And a year later, the guilt destroys Toph and makes her retire from being chief of police. Now, however, I will grant this. They do offhandedly mention that Toph and Sue did reconnect and talk about that, yeah, that was a bad move. But Lin still never let go of that anger. She never let go of that rage inside of her, and it just continued to eat her alive. And in here, it does some really... It just sends her over, like... I don't know what happened, but it sent her off, like, whatever happened in that acupuncture just drove her nuts. Meanwhile, while this is going on, we have we also continue to see probably Legend of Korra's best group of villains do what they do best. Be the best group of villains of Legend of Korra ever. Zahir and his gang are pretty much trying to get out of Republic City, and Ghazan actually says, hey, should we, since we're here, should we take out the president like we planned? I love how also nonchalant that is, like, how casual that is, like, hey, well, we can't find the Avatar. You guys want to go kill the president? No? Okay. Zahir says, no, we can't do that. The first priority, we'll have to put that on hold. We have to get out of the city. So they hijack a car, and they haul ass out of the city after nearly being discovered. These guys prove that between the four of them, these guys have some major power behind them. Like, Ghazan can just earthbend so fast he can create molten rock that melts the tires Pali can just, oh man, she's 30 times cooler than Combustion Man. But yeah, that's a really cool little side story going on. But it does go back to, let's go back to the rest of stuff in the Metal Clan. Let me talk about the other thing that's another little subplot going on, is Sue teaching Korra how to metal bend, which is, of course, the Avatar trait of, hey, I can just do it right off the bat. And I like how they explain it, too, of how she can just metal bend so quickly. They give it some explanation, saying that meteorites, the strange metal within the strange earth within the metal of it all, can actually be easier to metal bend. It's what most metal benders use to practice on. So that's actually kind of a smart idea. And Korra takes to it like a fish out of water. And also we have Bolin, who is trying, feeling very inadequate that he cannot metal bend, and Toph is his idol, pretty much. He idolized Toph of how awesome she was and how great a bender she was. And I really like that dialogue between him and Opal. And it's kind of adorable, because Opal says, I feel like I don't want to disappoint my mom, that I want to learn about my airbending, but I also cannot just up and leave my mom. It'd just break her heart. And I'm like, oh, this is some Avatar writing right here. But yeah. It's, the other thing, let's get back to the other thing. So, Lin and Sue face off in a really epic earthbending battle, which is stopped by Opal, and Lin realizes that, man, I was an insufferable bitch. And everything I did was at me. You see, this is what I like about this season, is that all the characters are willing to openly realize that, hey, I am an idiot. And this plays out in original Airbenders, which I'm grateful for, because this was something I wanted to talk about with Tenzin, and I'll get onto that when I get to original Airbenders. But yeah, this it pretty much, long story short, Lin reconnects with her sister and convinces Opal to follow her dreams, and Opal decides to join them, Korra and the rest of them, and then it ends with something that made me go, uh-oh. Pretty much, Zahir and his gang are outside the city, and Zahir is meditating, and he figures out that they're at, the Metal Clan. They're with the Metal Clan. I'm like, how the hell did he learn to do that? You were a non-bender beforehand, and now you're an airbender, and you can just do it so easily. How is he able to do this? This guy has so much mystery to him, and we barely know anything about him and his gang. All that we know is that these guys want the Avatar for something other than ransom, and these guys are terrifying, and I'm really hoping that the payoff for these villains is really good. Because so far, I think they've been the best. They've been better than Amon and Unalaq combined. But yeah, I feel like that's really all I can say about Old Wounds. It wasn't that bad, but there wasn't much I can talk about with it, and just saying, pretty decent episode. So let's move right along to the next episode, which is the original Airbenders. Alright, so with the original Airbenders, this episode was the more one I would be like, man, I would not really... I mean, I'd watch it again, maybe one or two times, but this would not be one of my favorite episodes of the season. But it did have a good resolution to it, I'll say that. So, it pretty much has the Northern Air Temple, and surprise, surprise, Tenzin sucks at teaching. Because, again, he is doing something that we already know is going on. These people aren't airbenders. They weren't born airbenders. They don't know the airbender lifestyle, and some of them don't even care. Boomy included. So, yeah, Tenzin is trying to make them feel like airbenders. Then along come the rest of his family with the other airbenders from Republic City, and what happens is that, and here's something that just made me go, really? This was the part that made me go, really, was when Pema, and Kaya come in, and they arrive, and they're like, well, we had a little scare because Zahir infiltrated the building. And I was like, and then Kaya was like so nonchalantly like, oh yeah, and he stole this thing from Guru Lahi whatever, and I fought him off. I'm like, okay, one, a little scare is when you see a spider crawling on the ground, or when you think you lost your wallet, or you forget to pay your taxes. That's a little scare. When someone who you know is a known terrorist and violent criminal who also has been given the ability of your husband and can use it in lethal terms, that's not a little scare. That would make me go, holy shit, I need to find my family and I'm going to go cry in my house for a while. And Kaya shouldn't be talking. As I recall, Zahir could have killed her ass in that fight. And he nearly did. So, I can't believe that they were just so nonchalant about it. And, yeah. I mean, I know it's Avatar and they sometimes brush off danger, but this guy is this is a guy who infiltrated your house, your home, was talking with your children, and nearly murdered your sister. He could have killed your entire family and you wouldn't, and all the other Airbenders, and you wouldn't have even noticed. So I think I would have made that situation a little more dire. You know, basically like Tenzin or Pema, just basically like, we're not safe. This guy means business. If he can sneak into our home, what else can he do? So yeah, that one little scene just kind of bugged me. But anyway, this is also where I thought intelligence, and this I'm going to give some applause to Korra. Yeah, that's something I never thought I'd say either. But what happens is that he gets a call from Korra and he says, yeah, we helped patch things up between Sue and Lin, and that's all water on the bridge, and we're sending Opal your way soon. And Tenzin tells her, look, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, and to which Korra says, how about you get help from Boomy? He's the guy who is a military man and he knows about organization. Get him to help and play on it, and he may take on more responsibilities than you do. She basically plays that whole Avatar wisdom mixed with, kind of punk rock kind of personality to her. And I was like, okay, that's smart. But yeah, I like how that played out. However, Tenzin doesn't get the full fucking idea, and man, they really make Tenzin in this season really stupid. So he goes to Boomy, who tells him, you gotta rule him with an iron fist. Of course, Tenzin, being stupid in this season, takes it way too hard and pushes everyone way, beyond the edge. And while this is going on, we have Jinora and Kai getting closer together. It feels like almost like Aladdin and Jasmine. Like, it's almost hitting you over the head. Like, there are some scenes where it just bash you over the head. It's like, make a AMV with the song A Whole New World with them in it. Now, shippers, now! That's what I got out of it. But, yeah, they run into some baby bison, and it's cute, and Jinora saves Kai, and we also get the sense that Jinora's more powerful than Kai. And not powerful than Kai, more powerful than... obviously, she's more powerful than Kai, but she may be more powerful than her father. She has a stronger connection with the spirits, and she's a bit more adept with airbending. But of course, Daddy being Daddy, he can't see his daughter growing up. What can you do? But anyway, I digress. So, of course, what else happens? Tenzin pushes them too hard, and Boomy and the other airbenders just are like, fuck this, we're out. So, what proceeds to happen is Kai and, of course, Jinora gets pissed off at Tenzin because Tenzin was so justifiably a dick. She runs off, and Kai and her get kidnapped by earth-bending air bison poachers. I didn't know that was a thing till now. But yeah. Anyway. Anyway, this is the part of the scene where I was kind of like, okay, I can almost forgive Tenzin for being an idiot this episode. So what happens is that he's meditating, and who else better to talk some sense into him than his wife? So Pema comes in and tells him, look, these people were not born airbenders. They didn't know about the airbender lifestyle. They had completely other lives. Hell, I had to change my whole life for you. And it took me months, if not years, to completely handle it. I still feel like an outsider. So you can't just thrust everything you know and all of your culture on it and expect it to stick with these people. So I was like, okay, that's not only who better, like I said, who better to kick some sense into Tenzin than his own wife? And that would make sense because she wasn't she wasn't a, part of the Airbender culture either. So she would know better than anyone of trying to adapt to the Airbender culture that, because she's married to Tenzin. So I was like, okay, that scene, that's a good scene right there. That's a good setup. So of course, we also get a cool scene with Jinora, who can actually talk to spirits, and they go off and tell Boomy, who rallies the Milo, Ikki, and the other Airbenders to rescue Kai and Jinora. We also have this weird scene where the Earthbender poachers are they're poaching these Sky Bison for meat for the Earth Queen and the royalty. They even say in a weirdly that the Earth Queen ate her father's bear. I'm like, ugh, that is one fucked up bitch. In the words of Chris Tucker, you one crazy bitch. Anyway, so long story short, Kai and Jinora are saved. Jinora reconnects with her father, and she's allowed to get tattoos. Oh yeah, by the way, that's a thing. And Boomy and the other Airbenders like, yeah, we're gonna be Airbenders now. We're gonna be so cool. So yeah, like I said, these episodes were decent. Not to say they were bad. Like I said, they had some good elements to them. Old Wounds definitely had a lot of good elements in here, and the original Airbenders, again, Tenzin was just being just so incredibly fucking stupid. But I did like that scene between him and his wife, of basically, yeah, saying what we've been saying this whole season so far. And again, there was that scene early on with Zahir breaking into the house, and everyone's cool, seemingly just nonchalant about it. I was cool. I had my problems with that, but all in all, I didn't hate these episodes. I just thought they were decent at best. Again, original Airbenders more than Old Wounds felt very fillery, but I got a feeling that next week episodes are just going to be really good. I just got a weird feeling that we're going to, because I think the next episode is called The Terror Within, which, by the way, The Terror Within sounds like an episode of Doctor Who. I'm just saying. Like, I would not be surprised if, we would have a Doctor Who episode with the same name. Like, this almost sounds like if anything, it does sound like a Doctor Who episode, preferably like a William Hartnell or Patrick Troughton story. But yeah. Anyway, again, didn't hate these episodes, but on a whole, it'd be like 3 out of 5 if I did any rankings with these, which I don't, which I don't at all. But yeah, really. So I really want to know, guys, what did you guys think of this week's episodes? Did you guys like them? Did you guys hate them? What did you guys think of everything? And yeah. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I'm out.